Alright everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the Kirby's Adventure 100% playthrough. We pick up at the beginning of level 3, which is butter building. And as you're going to see, there are some differences obviously, but for the most part it's going to be pretty much the same. The gameplay obviously is the same. Enemy types at the start of this level are nothing we haven't already seen before. We start off by getting the sword power up, obviously one of my personal favorites. Be very careful not to be near that bomb when it goes off. Just go right in the door the moment you get a chance, and then you get into this room here. Take care of the bomb, watch out for the enemies that will drop down on top of you. You can keep the sword if you want, or you can suck up to get the stone power up, which is personally not one of my favorite types you can use, but hey, it's there if you want it. Then you got this Mike enemy type that we've seen before. Go ahead and destroy it however you please. And obviously when you do kill it, you get the Mike power up, which gives you the ability to destroy anything on screen up to 3 times. So as I said, dispatch of it in any manner that you see fit. Take it if you wish. If not, just move on to the next part of the level here. Now here you just have a few enemies that you really can't bypass, so what I should have done there was just use the Mike power up. But in my stubbornness, I chose not to, so we're just going to press on forward without it, although we do suck it back up here. Now we go through the door. Now look up at the top, there is a pink mushroom looking thing. That is a hidden switch, and in order to obtain 100% completion and thus complete the challenge, you do need to hit every single hidden switch in the game. So here is the first one. How you get to it is suck up these blocks, blow up the bombs, go through the door, and there's your first switch. Just jump on it just like that, and what that will do is open up a hidden area within the overworld of level 3 that you can explore later. In this case, it is a battle arena, so use it if you want to. I tend to not care about those kind of things. So we continue on forward to the end of the level, and there we go. We're at the very end at the trampoline, and this is one of the very first times, I think it's the second time in this playthrough, that we actually get to the very top and get the extra life. So cool. Not that it really matters that much. Again, the only real point of extra lives is to get yourself up to 6 or 7 so that you can have those 7 lives if you need them for the playthrough and the challenge. Alright, we continue on to 3-2, and you're going to see the level layout is going to get a little trickier. You're going to have to go over to the far right here because some of these ceilings cannot be passed through, so you're going to have to zigzag your way around. Kill the enemies safely as you can. Watch out for the fire enemies here. This section can be a little bit tricky. There's a little health power up if you need it. Be careful to suck it up as necessary. Don't accidentally destroy it. Go on through, and we're going to come to an interesting section here that kind of reminds me of Battletoads in the final level before you fight the Queen. You're going to circle all the way around the tower until you get to a certain point where a door is going to open, and then you can go through that door and continue on to the next part of the level. That was a nice little slide, by the way. Alright, here it is. The door just magically opens on the other end of the tower. You're going to go straight up, stay right in the middle. Do not let those stone enemies drop down on top of you here. So I'm just going to show you. Here's the stone power-up. Not one of my favorites, and as you can see, it can be effective for killing enemies directly next to you, but beyond that, I really have no use for it. So do with it what you will. I'm going to hold on to it just because it's better than nothing, although I almost would rather have nothing, so I got rid of it anyway. Alright, now we're going to continue on forward. Lovely. Got my sword power up once again, one of my favorites. Continue on through. There's another opportunity for sword. Gonna slide right on through, get by this little spiked enemy here. Destroy, keep going. Gonna have a wheel. Take very careful caution to destroy that wheel. That usually always gets me once or twice a playthrough here. No, not a whole lot to see here. Fly over the spikes with caution. Destroy the stars. Not too complicated right now. Now this can be annoying. You need to be very careful here. There is an opportunity to get both the health and a 1-up if you like. It does require a little bit of speed and dexterity, so be very careful and be very quick if you want to get either of those. In this case, it's not a big deal for either one, so I'm not that upset about the fact that I didn't get either one of them. Alright, we got a little mini-boss that we haven't seen before. This is a beetle of sorts, and slash it, swipe it. Be very careful because it can do some serious damage to you if you are not. Just go ahead, keep sucking them up, slashing them. There's many ways to take down this boss. It's kind of a combination of Mega Man boss attacks, if you understand what I mean by that. And do not get close to him. I cannot emphasize that enough, unless you know for a fact he's not going to be attacking you. And you can suck up the enemy here. He gives you the backdrop attack, which we've never seen before, which is basically a melee attack. You get close to the enemy, suck it up, and you can smash it all over the place, kind of like ragdoll the enemy, which is kind of cool if you're into melee attacks, but I prefer to kill enemies from further away if possible. So I will demonstrate how the backdrop works once or twice just so you can see it in action. And then once it's done, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. So here's the backdrop. You just smash the enemies. Kind of cool once or twice just for novelty's sake, but yeah. I am not going to be using it as a primary source of attack throughout the course of this run here. Even later on, when I attempt Kirby Challenge number 2, getting to Great Garden with only specials, I still wouldn't be using backdrop. It's just not safe in my honest opinion. So there it is, one more time. Kind of cool for novelty's sake, but yeah, it's gone now. Alright, we're going to continue on forward. It's the same thing we've seen before. You're just going to suck up everything. Now here we get the high jump special ability here. It's good for jumping high, obviously. It's not an attack or an ability that I care that much about, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it once I have the opportunity. We go in the building here, and yeah, goodbye. I could really care less. We're going to go ahead and destroy you, and there's a couple doors here you can fly in, and some of them you do need to pay attention to. Some of them have interesting abilities, some of them have extra lives, health power-ups. Now here, that obviously didn't do anything, so watch very carefully where I'm going to go here. We're going to go straight up. There is a bomb blocking the door, probably for good reason, right? Well, that's why. There is a health power-up, so if you need it, certainly take advantage of that. And then continue to go up here. You have another hidden door, and then you have a star block. We're going to go ahead and try to take care of that, go up, and the reason it's blocking that door is because it leads to the exit. So there we go. That was actually a very quick and simple level for the most part. And we get another extra life, not that we really need it. Alright, and we are done with that level here. Well, not the level, but that stage. We've only got a few more to go, and if you think back to what I said in the last part of this video, level 1 had 4 stages, 2 had 5, and this one's going to have 6, so it's going to get more and more complex the further we go. Here's another museum with the high jump ability. Again, if you're into that kind of thing and you like jumping high, you could certainly get it. Not required, except for very few occasions. Now here, check this out. A warp star right at the very start. That's kind of nice. Fly all the way to the top of this tower. I've always thought this animation sequence was kind of pointless. Okay, just take me up there. What was the whole point of that? I've never really understood that in this game, Kirby's Dream World, any of the games with warp stars. Alright, here we are back. Now we're facing the Meta Knights all over again. So we already know how to face them. We fought them the first time. Do the same old thing. The strategy does not change from the first time. There's many different ways you can kill them with many different abilities. I don't care how you do it. Just do it. Get it over and done with. Suck them up, needle them, crash them, smash them. Do what needs to be done, and then move on to the next part of the level here. It's probably easiest to suck them up. So take advantage of that now, because again, in the second Kirby playthrough, you will not be able to do that. You'll have to use your special abilities. So, we've only got 1 or 2 more Meta Knights left to get rid of, and I think, no, that was it right there. So that takes care of them one more time. Now this section can be a little bit tricky because you've got enemies all over the place. So be careful, be cautious. I was just trying to zoom and zip right past them. Unfortunately, there's just way too many, so we're just going to destroy them all and go through the door and exit that portion. Now here's the very end portion of this level. This is like a wind chamber which will carry you all the way up. By the way, we have our 6 or 7 lives right now, so we're good. Full health, and there's the exit. So interesting little idea on, level layout. We have actually seen something very similar to that in Gargoyle's Quest 2. If you remember, there was a wind chamber, although I think this game is much more fun and much more memorable and easier to play through than Gargoyle's Quest 2. So, yeah. Moving on. Now we move into 3-5. We also have this cowboy hat shootout here. Not really necessary, but it's one of my favorite sub-games here. So I'm going to show it to you just for shiggles. Basically, it's kind of like the old game... I'm trying to remember the name of the light gun game on the NES, where you had the light gun and you had to fire within, 0.235 seconds, whatever, of them pulling the gun on you. It was always one of my favorite classic first-generation NES games. I wish I could remember the name of the title right now. But you go through and you got to shoot them before they pull their guns out. And the further you get, the higher you get, the more points and eventually extra lives you get here. So, not a whole lot to see beyond this. Now it gets a little bit tougher. Unfortunately, he will get me on this one. Dang, they're pretty fast. And that does it for that. So we get some points. Points don't really matter in this game, at least not for this playthrough. But whatever. Now you've seen what it is. Now we're going to move on to 3-5. We've only got 2 more stages to go before we fight the boss. And the boss is certainly going to get tougher. Definitely tougher than the first 2 bosses of this game here. So we move on through. There's another hyper. We haven't seen that since level 1. So run through, dash and smash and crash and kill everything in your path until you get to the door on the other side of this tower here. Not too complicated. So go through that door, and what do we got on the other side of it, you wonder? Enemies, of course. Now, you could suck that thing up for the freeze or another cold crashing ability here. But you don't have to. Just fly over everything. This is a very poorly designed, conceived, constructed level, except for the very end here. You have to be very cautious not to get hit by the spike. Go through, and here we have another sub-boss here, which has a hammer. You gotta wonder, is this Mario and Donkey Kong mixed together? Maybe, possibly. And if you don't know what you're doing, he can make short work of you, but instead we're gonna make short work of him. I'm gonna get rid of my sword and suck him up for the hammer abilities. So now I am Mario reincarnated here. This is one of my personal favorite melee attacks, probably better than the sword even, just because of how quickly you can use it. And because I like how it smashes through a couple at once. So go right through. No way to get through that section right there unless you have a certain ability. So, not that it matters at this point. Go all the way up, get to the end, and we've only got one more stage to go before the boss. We're making pretty short work of the butter building here. So let's go ahead and get to the last stage here of level 3. And you're going to see it's nothing, for the most part, we haven't already seen before. You could suck up the laser if you wanted to. I prefer not to do that. I love this little hammer. Now, this is probably the toughest level, or the toughest stage within this level, because it is in a closed, confined space, particularly to start out. And if you're not cautious, these bombs will destroy you and make short work of you. And there goes my hammer, unfortunately. Oh well, like I said, lots of bombs in confined areas here, so be very cautious. Suck up these blocks here, continue on through. And we're going to get through the confined area, thankfully. It's not too much more open, so you still got to play cautiously, and we're going to suck up the fire ability here. Watch out for these cannons. You need to be very strategic and cautious here. There's a nice little health power-up. Not that we need it that badly, but we will certainly take it. I'm not going to say no to health. And watch out for the frog, probably the trickiest section of that level right there, or that particular alcove, incove, whatever you want to call it. Alright, walk around to the other side of this building here. We're going to go through another doorway. And let's see what's on the other side of it. Probably nothing we haven't seen before. Oh, I stand corrected. This is the cloud climbing portion, which would be tough if you choose to play it the normal way. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go up here, destroy the blocks. And here, we have a bomb section here. So get a puff of air, blow up the bomb. Quickly get on the right side before that wall blocks you in. And then you go in here, and oh, check that out, there's your second hidden switch. So that's going to open up a section for a bonus level right next to the end of 3-6. We can check that out later if we want to, but for right now, we're going to go all the way up. And we're going to try to sneak past this sword enemy here. In fact, we could just suck him up and take his sword. Thank you very much, I'll have another. And go out the door, and we're going to have a dark section here. So this is something new we haven't seen before, and honestly, beyond that, it's nothing you can't handle. Just fly up near the top. This is a very simplistic section as long as you bypass it. And this is one of my gripes with this game, as I've said before. You can fly past almost any section in the game if you are not in an enclosed alcove like we saw in 3-5. So keep moving up, keep moving up, keep moving up. There are some enemies here that we will have to destroy, so take them out as necessary. And keep moving up, keep moving up. We're basically at the end. There it is. There's the exit for 3-6. Go right past them. Go in the door. Take the trampoline. Boom. We are at the end of level 3, and now we're going to have the boss. So what is the boss going to be? What's it going to look like? Well, as I said, it's certainly the toughest boss you've encountered up to this point. But what is it exactly? Let's take a look at it. So this is the sun and the moon, if you can believe that here. So it looks like a Mario 3, or a Super Mario World 3-up moon, and the killer sun from Mario Bros. 3. Now, fortunately, the sun itself is not that difficult. Just get up close to it and smash it, or you can suck up the stars and destroy it. Boom, gone. The sun is not that tough. However, once you destroy it, and it becomes part of the background, it will become much more of a nuisance. Because you've got the moon coming after you, and it will try to drop stars down onto you here. Fortunately, the stars can be sucked up. And once you get to this point, you've only got 1 or 2 more hits to go. So don't get underneath of the sun. Just stay clear of it, where you get a chance to suck up the stars. Obviously, be careful and cautious of the moon. Don't let it crash into you like this. I'm playing very, very foolish right now. But I already know I've got this in the bag. So I got rid of the moon. Once you get rid of both of them, they go together, they blow up, and there's the third part of our wand. We have finally beaten the 3rd level in this game. And for time purposes, I could go on to level 4, but we have a lot of hidden switches here in this game from level 3 onward. I want to be sure that I don't miss any. So we're going to stop here for now, and we will pick up in the 3rd portion of this video in Grape Garden. And we will see you later on for the next part of this challenge. Take care.